What's up everyone, Charlie here. We have a very important filing that came out of the Code of Federal Regulations, and this one is regarding alternative trading systems, which are trading systems that trade off of the exchanges. Now this is 17 CFR parts 232, 240, 242, and 249. This is a 500 and some page long document, so I'm just going to briefly summarize and go over what they're going to be changing in this video, and then I'll go over the specific changes in another video. So this is the filing right here. It was filed today and scheduled to be published on 3/18 in the Fed Register. This is amendments regarding the definition of exchange and alternative trading systems, or ATSs, that trade U.S. Treasury and agency securities, national market system, securities, and other securities. So the Securities and Exchange Commission is proposing to amend Rule 13b-16 under the Securities and Exchange Act, which defines certain terms used in the statutory definition of exchange under Section 30A1 of the Act. And this definition includes systems that offer the use of non-firm trading interest and communication protocols to bring together buyers and sellers of securities. In addition, the Commission is re-proposing amendments to its regulations under the Exchange Act that were initially proposed in September 2020 for ATSs to take into consideration systems that may fall within the definition of exchange because of the proposed amendments and operate as an ATS. The Commission is re-proposing, with certain revisions, amendments to its regulations for ATSs that trade government securities as defined under Section 3A42 of the Exchange Act, which that section is entitled Government Securities, or repurchase and reverse purchase agreements on government securities. So again, they're going to be re-proposing this with certain revisions and amendments to its regulations for ATSs that trade government securities, repurchase and reverse repurchase agreements on government securities. So the Commission is also proposing to amend Form ATS-N for NMS stocks ATSs, which would require existing NMS stocks ATSs to amend their existing disclosure. In addition, the Commission is proposing to amend the Fair Access Rule for ATSs. The Commission is also proposing to require electronic filing of and to modernize Form ATS-R and Form ATS, which would require existing Form ATS filers to amend their existing disclosures. Further, the Commission is re-proposing amendments to its regulations regarding systems compliance and integrity to apply the ATSs that meet certain volume thresholds in U.S. Treasury securities or in a debt security issued by a guaranteed by a U.S. executive agency or government-sponsored enterprise, otherwise known as agency securities. So a little bit of introduction. In September 2020, the Commission issued a proposal to amend Regulation ATS and Regulation SCI for government securities ATSs, and the Commission recognized that the critical role of government securities in the U.S. and global economy, the significant volume in government securities transacted on systems currently operating as alternative trading systems, and these alternative trading systems' growing importance to investors and overall securities market structure. Notwithstanding their importance for government securities, the investor protection and fair and orderly market principles of Regulation ATS have limited application to government securities ATSs. For example, an ATS that limits its security activity to government securities or reverse repurchase agreements on government securities, otherwise known as repos, and registers as a broker-dealer or is a bank, is exempt from exchange registration and is not required to comply with Regulation ATS. Big problem. Further, ATSs that trade both government securities and non-government securities, for example corporate bonds, are subject to Regulation ATS, but are not required to comply with many of its investor protection and fair and orderly market provisions, including public transparency rules and the obligation to provide fair access to investors if the ATS has significant trading volume. In addition, ATSs that trade government securities are not subject to the system's integrity provisions of Regulation SCI. So, don't you see how big of a problem the repo is now? To promote operational transparency, investor protection, system integrity, fair and orderly markets, and regulatory oversight for government securities, ATSs, the Commission proposed in 2020 a proposal to eliminate the exemption from compliance with Regulation ATS for currently exempted government securities, require all government securities alternative trading systems to publicly file Form ATS-G, on which they would disclose information about their operations and potential conflicts of interest. Provide a process for the Commission to review Form ATS-G disclosures for clarity, completeness, and potential violations of law, and, if necessary, declare ineffective Form ATS-G filings. And require an ATS that has significant volume for U.S. Treasury securities or agency securities to, number 1, establish reasonable standards for access to the ATS and apply those standards to all prospective and current subscribers in a fair and non-discriminatory manner. And 2, comply with the operational capability, security, business continuity planning, incident reporting, and related requirements under Regulation SCI. This was the proposal back in 2020. Now, he basically goes out and they talks about the comments that were received in response to this proposal, and then they ended up withdrawing it. So here we are again, 2022, with another round at it. Now, Supernote 6 here says the Commission also has proposed to amend Regulation ATS to require that Form ATS and Form ATS-R be filed with the Commission electronically through the Electronic Data Gathering, Analysis, and Retrieval system, which is awesome, meaning if this gets approved, we'll be able to look it up ourselves via Edgar. And they're looking to modernize both forms, eliminate confidential treatment of the types of securities that an ATS trades, as disclosed on the ATS's form, update and correct Form ATS-N, change the reasons for which the Commission could extend the initial Form ATS-N review period, require NMS stock ATSs to post on their websites the most recently disseminated Form ATS-N, except for any amendment that the Commission has declared ineffective, and remove the exclusion from compliance with the Fair Access Rule and Rule 301b6 under Regulation ATS for an ATS that matches non-displayed customer orders, using prices disseminated by an effective transaction reporting plan, ADF facility. Anyways, moving on. The Commission is reproposing and revising previously proposed amendments to Regulation ATS back in 2020 and Regulation SCI for government securities alternative trading systems that include the following. 1. Reproposing to eliminate the exemption from compliance with Regulation ATS for an ATS that trades only government securities or repos and is operated by a broker-dealer or is a bank. 2. Reproposing with certain revisions to require a government securities alternative trading system that has significant volume for U.S. Treasury securities or agency securities to comply with the Fair Access Rule under Regulation ATS and Regulation SCI. Number 3. Reproposing to apply the enhanced disclosure and filing requirements of Rule 304 of Regulation ATS, which are currently applicable to NMS stock ATSs, to all government securities ATSs. So we have 3, 4. Number 4 is proposing to require government securities alternative trading systems to file Form ATS-N as revised instead of previously proposed forms ATS-G. Number 5, they're proposing several changes to Form ATS-N that would be applicable to both government securities alternative trading systems and NMS stock alternative trading systems, including questions about the ATS's interaction with related markets, liquidity providers, and activities the ATS undertakes to surveil and monitor its market. So can you imagine if we're already calling out stuff this accurately with the data we currently have? Imagine how much better we're going to get when we actually get this data available to us. Number 6, they're proposing amendments to Form ATS-N that would require existing NMS stock alternative trading systems to file an amendment to their existing disclosures on Form ATS-N. 7, proposing to add a new type of amendment to Form ATS-N to report changes to fee disclosures. Number 8, proposing to amend the Form ATS-N review and effectiveness process to permit the Commission to extend the review period for Form ATS-N as needed. Number 9, proposing to make certain changes to the Fair Access Rule that would apply to all alternative trading systems that are subject to the rule. And lastly, reproposing electronic filing of Form ATS-R and Form ATS and proposing certain changes to the categories of securities reported on Form ATS-R. I'll get into the specifics on those 9 things later, but that's basically an introduction to let you know what's going on. They're basically looking at alternative trading systems, and they're basically restructuring some rules to not allow them to get out of some of the reporting requirements and regulation requirements that they've had to undergo. So anyways, that's it. Repo related. Let's go.